Today's session, our speaker is Timothy Demoff, and Timothy Demoff is a CPP, which I learned this morning is Certified Protection Professional, board certified in the field of, safety. Is founder and president of SACS Consulting and Investigative Services. He is a leading authority in high-risk workplace and human resource issues, security, and crime. A former narcotics detective and SWAT team member, Timothy analyzes security for churches, businesses, and places where people gather. He develops a customized plan and implements it. And here with us today, everyone give a warm welcome to Timothy Demoff.
Thanks. Well, good morning. Thanks for getting up after a pretty eventful evening. So I understand, but I'm really glad you're here. This is a very important topic, and a little more about my company, just so you understand. My first career was in law enforcement, as explained, and was up in Ohio with the Akron, Ohio Police and then the Federal Task Force. And I've got to experience 20 years in law enforcement, just about everything you can imagine. I did the high crimes unit, SWAT team for 6 years. I had 167 armed confrontations, one-on-one. That's a whole book by itself. But I learned a lot from that. I learned a lot about the psychology of what people are thinking when they're upset, when they have firearms, when they don't have firearms, emotional, psychological. Took an extensive amount of training, then went undercover narcotics, and then worked major cases in the Federal Task Force. With that came a lot of training, knowledge, and experience. Also some things where we made mistakes or we learned how to do things better. And then now 20 years with SACS Consulting. I started this company 20 years ago. We are a group of ex-military, military intelligence, law enforcement, federal agents, etc. We are one of the top 5 private security companies in the entire United States. You see all this active shooter stuff, aggressive behavior in that. We're an industry leader in that. A lot of these programs, we research extensively, criminal behavior, negative behavior, workplace violence, high risk, that's our thing. So we're focusing more into high risk for corporations. More the aggressive stuff, the internal. Obviously, we specialize in security, major investigations. We're human resource experts. We do a ton of training. The real estate industry I got involved in many years ago, and we saw the incidences of aggressive behavior, attacks, murders, everything from the low-level aggression to your highest level into real estate. And so we started doing some research on that, and we started to develop programs for real estate agents, everything from the cybersecurity to the physical security. Yesterday I did one on physical buildings. What you do as real estate agents, because your offices are open, you're kumbaya, you meet people, you want to build relationships. It's not like, you want to have a stagnant environment. So we kind of went over that, and I had developed self-defense programs for law enforcement and then private security, and then certain situations on the private, just like the active shooter, we develop a lot of recognition, prevention type stuff. Real estate industry, we noticed a very high-tick and type of aggressive behavior. Now, for your industry, obviously, hate to say it to you, but the real estate industry is one of the more dangerous, even though it's one of the more friendly. So you're very big about networking, relationships, helping people with different situations, and buying their first home to their 10th home to whatever. But unfortunately, in this world today, criminals or people with negative thinking will take advantage of those, that are out there. So today, we're going to talk about a program I developed for real estate agents on basically what are those things that you need to be aware of. How can I help you continue to be the friendly, the relationship building, continue to do what you're doing, but while you're doing it, let's help you be a little safer. Let's help you be aware of some things. So what are some of those basic things that you can do? And that's what today's about. Now, if you have any questions or situations or whatever, just, this is interactive. You don't have to wait to the end. Just ask me and we'll go. What we did is we started a series of different trainings. We call them Street Smarts. Street Smarts for real estate agents, Street Smarts for manufacturing, Street Smarts for security, whatever. We kind of have that and own that tagline, But real estate is one of the most dangerous legitimate professions in America. Just last year, there was an uptick in murders in the United States. But unfortunately, in the female versus the male category, female ticked up much, much higher than the male victims. So you have to be aware of that. I'm married. I got 2 daughters. They're out there. They're in their 30s. They're out there working just like any other, young man or young woman. And we just don't think it's going to happen to me or could. And I tell everybody, let's increase those odds. Let's increase the odds of it not happening to you. Annual assaults on real estate professionals has tripled since 2010. A couple of them here. Texas realtor was stabbed 27 times. In Florida down here, an unsuspecting, neatly dressed young man attacked a realtor, robbed her, and threatened to kill her with a 12-inch knife. Now, it's not always knives, guns, and bullets. A lot of times you can be dealing with aggressive behavior. It's just verbal, but they're angry. Maybe they're upset. We've had real estate agents attacked because they sold someone a house and they love the house and they're there and they find out there's something wrong with the house and it's your fault. You sold them the house. So now they're coming back to find you. This isn't, there's types where you have no idea who it is or what their intentions. Then there's people that have very, very direct. They'll call and they'll threaten, and that you have different types of things going on. So remember, you got to be thinking about aggressive behavior all the way from low-level verbal to high-level person with a firearm. Don't be just thinking person with a firearm, because that becomes very narrow thinking. Now, personal space. What we are training people to do or understand, what you need to understand, is it starts at 30 feet, okay? Now, for your industry, you have to change this a little bit because you deal with people in a much more closer quarters, okay? So 30 feet away is not your industry. Universally, we teach people basic security. Basic security. You're shopping, you're out walking in a parking lot, you're in a parking deck. What we say is, when it hits 30 feet, you have to start to change your awareness level. Now, in the real estate business, you deal with a lot closer. But still, the 30-foot rule says someone's 30 feet away, you start to think about it. So you're selling a house, you're showing a house. 30 feet can be they getting out of the car and coming to the door. You don't think about it, but you should start thinking about 30 feet away, they're coming to the door. What could you be doing? Well, you could be taking a stronger look at them. You can be noticing what they're wearing from head to toe. What color are their shoes? Different things. You can be looking at different markings on their bodies, different things, scars, tattoos, ponytails, different little things. Why? In case something happens, you already have that photo of them. A lot of victims don't start to notice anybody until they're attacked. Well, it's hard to defend yourself, think about getting free, and then try to take a picture of what they have on, what they look like in details. So 30 feet away, start to train yourself to notice people 30 feet away, okay? For your industry, obviously when it starts, the space starts to get smaller, the radar goes up more. So, but you got to have an attitude. And the attitude is, hey, I'm going to be sharp about what I'm doing. I am going to be looking out for myself. I am going to do things. I'm going to accept the fact, there's bad people out there. I'm going to survive. Bad things can happen to anybody, anywhere. And we don't want fear to paralyze us. So having a mental attitude that, yes, I got to sharpen my pencil a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit more notice. Isn't it a shame? Because when we were all kids, we didn't have to do that, okay? But as adults now, we have to do that. We have to teach our kids to do that. It's changed. It's different. It's unfortunate, but it's different. When you were a kid, you got on your bike, you went to the park all day, alone. No one in here sends their kid or grandkid to the park today alone on a bike. It's just changed. Okay? It doesn't mean that we can't enjoy things. It means we have to be careful, a little more careful, a lot more careful. Now, you want to put yourself in an optimal observation situation, and we'll talk about it. Here's a simple thing you can do. We interviewed over in the prisons nationally we were part of, in federal government, FBI, and Homeland Security. Anyway, over 15,000 criminals. Criminals that were involved in everything from physical attacks to rapes to murders to robberies to everything. And part of the research that I'm basing this on is based on those interviews. I myself have interviewed over 1,500 career criminals, serious criminals. The thing unique about criminals in prison, they love to brag. They will tell you what they're good at, why they did it, the secrets, because that's their profession, as crazy as it sounds. But think about it. They wanted to talk to me, being a career criminal and my reputation nationally in law enforcement. They thought it was an honor to tell Tim Demoff. I was Policeman of the Year for the entire state of Ohio, and I was International Narcotic Officer of the Year in Montreal, Canada. Got some pretty high awards. I use that because it can entice them. If they can educate me, an award-winning cop from the past, their day's made. Well, I'm going to take advantage of that. Some of the data that we got from them. One of the things a lot of them mentioned to me is eye contact. They don't like eye contact. And the reason for eye contact isn't so much someone looking you in the eye. It's that as soon as I do that, I now know you two better, and you now suspect, gee, he knows what I look like, he knows what jewelry I have on, he knows what clothes I have on, he knows my shoes, he knows my face. Okay? You ever notice you walk into the drug stores and the video stores and and as soon as you walk in, what's the person behind the counter do? What do? They look at you, but they also say, hello, thanks for being here. Hi, thanks for shopping here. Hey, if you have anything you need, let me know. Okay? That's called acknowledgement. Okay? And acknowledgement is a deterrent to commit crime. As soon as someone walks in and they go, hi, thanks for being here. If I'm a criminal, I go, doggone it. Crap. They said hello to me. That means they looked at me and they know I got a hat on and a black jacket and red shoes and a scar on the side of my cheek. And you know what? I'm going to go buy a pack of bubble gum, act like I belong here, walk around a little bit, and then I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'm going to go to some store that doesn't say hello to me. And the criminals would say, you make eye contact with people. It's like, it's a subliminal message. So think about your clients that come in and you go up and you shake their hands and, hi, how are you? Good. And I look in their eyes. Okay? That alone. Most of us shake hands. We don't look in the eyes. Okay? They're coming in the door. Hi, come on in. You look them in the eye. It's a picture. It's subliminal. It works. I don't know why, but it works. And the best explanation I could come up with, I think it's like a camera. It's the brain says, whoop, they took a picture of me. They can remember me. So eye contact is non-threatening. That's what I love about it. Plus, in your industry, it's a plus. If you can learn to look people in the eye when you greet them in the door or shake their hands or get near them and you can look at them in the eye. Try it. We don't naturally look people in the eye because it's kind of, it's a little tougher. But if you train yourself to do it, you'll start doing it all the time. But once again, it's a subliminal self-defense. Take a picture, and it works. That's why I have it up here and I emphasize. Saying hello to people, just walking in and acknowledging them. Maybe you're showing a house and you got 3, 4, 6 different people. Make sure you get around and say hello to every single one of them. Verbally say hello to them. Verbally shake their hand. Verbally say hello. Look them in the eye. Remember, you're sending a subliminal message that you're very observant. What don't they want? They don't want observant people. Now, for your industry, it's not hard to sell to get you to do this because I can tell you can increase sales by looking people in the eye, shaking their hand, saying hello to them, because if you're observant to them, they're figuring you're observant to their needs, which is a house, both bad and good. So for real estate agents, this is not a hard sell. This is actually an improvement on both security and it. You should always be in condition yellow. Condition yellow is relaxed alert. Example of condition yellow. You're waiting for someone to come to the property. They pull in the driveway. If you're not in condition yellow, you don't even look out the window nor care what they're driving. But if you're in condition yellow, you see them pulling in the driveway, you make notice of their car. Maybe their car plate, okay? You might want to start writing down a quick description of the car and the car plate as he pulls in. Here's the beauty. They don't know you're doing that, so they can't be offended, okay? I have real estate agents that will actually type it in their phone real quick and send it to their office. I can tell you right now, a person pulling in the driveway, they pull in, they get out, they straighten out their clothes, they look around the house, right? Well, what are they doing? They're affording you time. Time to do what? Time to put white car, 4-door. Maybe you don't know what kind it is. Who cares? I can't tell you the difference between white cars with 4 doors, but I can tell you it's a white car with a 4-door. And I can tell you the plate. Okay? And maybe you send that to your office as an automatic protocol. Or at least you put it in your phone and you save it. And you let other agents in your office know as a group, I always will write the plate and the car description and save it in my phone. So those yes.
Are you still up in Ohio?
Pardon?
Are you still up in Ohio?
Yes, I am, ma'am.
Okay. Down here in Florida, you don't have to have a front plate.
Good point. Good point. And I guess if I'm a criminal and I don't have to have a front plate, I drive in with the front plate, and most people aren't going to back in, right? Okay? Description of car, still important. 4-door white car, and also description of the individual. Okay? White male, 40s, dark hair, with a young lady, or alone, So thanks for pointing that out. And there are other states like that. So the description of the car, description of the person, even that's very valuable to send or have in your phone. Those are things that we used to never do. Talk even 5 years ago, we weren't talking even like this, but we are today, So those kind of things, you'd be in condition yellow, okay? So there's 3 components. You, your adversary, and the situation, okay? We can't control the adversary or the situation, but we can greatly influence them through awareness and presence. Just like walking in the store, saying hello, making eye contact, that kind of stuff. All that's important, and all that works. We call it situational awareness. Anymore now, we have to be aware of situational awareness. It's 360 degrees. You're walking into a parking deck, you got to be looking around. You walk into a parking outside, you got to be looking around. You're going in and out of those houses you're showing, you got to be looking around. It's observational, it's 360. Just be thinking about the fact that it's 360. So we want to become better observers. We want to orient ourselves to the right things to do and the things we want to make sure that we do. Lighting. When you're showing a house, ask the people if you're showing the house and it's going to be towards the evening when you're still there, what is their lighting? Do they have a front porch light, a light in the yard, whatever? You have to start asking those questions if you're showing. Better yet, it's obviously better to show the house during the day. I know in most cases that's what you do. Sometimes you get in a jam and they go, well, the only time I can let you show it's at night. Well, you got to ask them, do you have lights? Do they work? You're there at that house, it's during the day. Is there anything wrong with asking them, do they work? No. Is there anything wrong with flipping the switch and asking the house seller, can you show me where the light switches are? And ask them, do they work? Do you have lights in the front? Do you have lights in the back of the house? Do they work? Oh, gee, they test the one in the back, the light bulb's out. Can you replace that light bulb before I get here? And then call them ahead of time. Did you replace the light bulb? Oh, I forgot. It's not a priority to them. It ain't their life. It's your life. So, do you have to be a little bit more firm? Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. So you think about simple. Blind spots you don't want to have. If you have any type of evening showings, remember blind spots increase. Remember lighting is a must. I will tell you flat out. You got a house and they want you to show it at night and their lights aren't working or the light bulbs are out. They don't get them working. Be firm. Tell them, sorry, I can't show your house. 2 reasons. Number 1, no lights on is a safety risk for myself and my staff. Number 2, you can tell them, if you don't have lights on at night, your house doesn't look very good. You know what I mean? You guys have such an advantage because you can always use the looks, as part of your sale process for your security plus their ability. You don't have lights on, ma'am. You're probably going to get $5,000 to $10,000 less for this house because it ain't going to look good. Now, I'll tell you what, they're going to go out and buy all sorts of light bulbs. You tell them that, right? And we don't have to argue with them whether they should replace a light bulb. So, use the sale of the house to your advantage. Weather conditions, ground conditions, box canyons are sort of like bad spots in houses or outside houses that would trap you, like going down the basement and they got this dark tool room, that's the last place you want to go. So we tell ahead of time, you're going to go to the house, you check the house out, right, inside out, know where the bad spots are or potential bad spots are or box canyons, know where dark spots are, know locations inside and outside that house that you don't want to go, that you will refuse to go. And you have the right to do that. You have the right to refuse. You can tell them the proverbial, hey, go on down there, basement's kind of big, look around, You don't have to go with them to every square foot. Remember the royal rule in realty, right? You do not have to escort them to every square foot of that house. Especially box canyons, dead ends, bad areas, questionable areas. Sorry, you're not being mean, you're not being rude, you're being smart and safe. Yes, ma'am. Do not have power turned on. Do you have it as a rule then that you do not show them at night? After 5. In the winter, it's because it gets dark earlier. Is there, would we agree there's nothing wrong with that? Okay, you want to sell those houses? Put some lights on, right? And I appreciate you saying that because that's important. We have the right to say no to bad situations. Okay? Let's all go home. Let's not roll the dice for what? A sale? A potential sale. Not even a sale, right? And someone wants you to show houses, but the electricity isn't on. Okay? Well, if they want to show that house that bad at night, figure out how to get electricity on, bring a generator in and make sure there's lights, or we ain't coming. And in most cases, you just have a firm rule. But you know what's funny? They don't have electricity after 5, it's dark, and you tell them I'm only going to show it during the day. They're pretty sensible. You don't even really have to give them an explanation anymore. Everybody goes, hey, I wouldn't show it either after dark. I don't blame you, right? I don't think you get too much resistance. And if you did, well, you know what? We move on to the next person. I think we all agree. But that's a good rule. That's the kind of stuff that we have to do. But that's the kind of stuff that criminals are looking for. Hey, can you show me that house at night? Because I'm working during the day. And you go, well, there's no electricity. And he says, I'll bring a couple high-powered flashlights. You going to go for that, Dominique? I'm not going for that. I'm proud of you. Here's what I say. Anybody that's willing to bring a flashlight and try and convince you to look at it at night, I'm convinced right now you got a 50-50 shot of being assaulted. Not 10, 20, 50. Because a human being that's sensible says, oh, there's no lights on there? I don't blame you. Hell, if you were my daughter or mother, I wouldn't want my mom or daughter shown. I got my 2 daughters. I keep explaining to them, you don't have to apologize. I got it in their head. You don't owe anybody an apology. And there ain't any amount of money worth it. So, good. Have firm rules. Have them throughout your agency. Create it throughout so that they hear that consistent message. Get with your organizations and agree as an organization that nobody in our region is going to do that. Make a positive. Work together. Because those things get out. Criminals ask a couple different agencies and they all say the same thing. Guess what happens? The criminals go, not this territory, and move on. Yes? Dark.
It's dark. Now, I would tell buyers, eliminate yourself on time. You won't have time to see the entire house because it'll be dark. So I think there's buyers that way by selling them. You will not even have the time to really look at the house.
Yeah, good. Once again, I think you got a great advantage. You have a specific aesthetic reason. What? You want to come look at the house with a flashlight? I can't show you all the great things about this house. You won't be able to grasp and compare to other houses. But if someone says, well, I'm sorry, I'm working during the day and I can't see it during the day. How about Saturday? Oh, I work Saturdays. How about Sundays? Oh, I work Sunday. Sounds to me like somebody with some bad ideas. Okay? How about 2 weeks from now? You can maybe break loose. What I'm saying is someone that's so determined that they got no time available. What time does it get light in the morning, right? If it gets dark late at night, it gets a little lighter in the morning. Can you meet them early in the morning? How about 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, Oh, I start at 5. Okay, let me get this. You start at 5, you work 7 days a week, you got no availability, and the only thing you're offering me is 2 flashlights. I didn't wake up yesterday, This ain't my first rodeo. Bottom line, do yourself a favor in that case. Get the person's name as much as you can, information on it, hang on to it, because you're going to hear about some assault somewhere by somebody, and then that guy's description is going to pop up, and you're going to be able to send the police his name. So even if you turn them down and they're real perseverance, but it's kind of bugs you, take note and see if you can get their name and keep it, because it's going to come back to help you. We solve more crimes by people who saw something a month ago that they scratched their head and I said, I just happened to write the plate down. Hallelujah. That one plate solved 15 assaults, So what happens if you're attacked? Where are you going to go? What's your escape route? How do you dress to defend? Electronics. Don't get caught up in your phone. Pay attention to the people that are there. What's your gut tell you? That's another thing. I worked undercover narcotics for 5 years, massive undercover, 5 states. I will tell you right now, I would not be standing talking to you if I didn't go with my gut feeling and my angels whispering in my ears. 7 times I could have got killed. 7 times my gut said, get out, something's not right, and the whisper in the ear from the angels was, this ain't good. Okay? So people go, oh, I don't know about gut feelings. I don't know about angels whispering in your ears. Well, I'm telling you right now, they exist. Both are true. Use them. If you're uncomfortable, change the situation until you get comfortable. You got someone you're showing a house, you're getting a funny feeling, get on your phone, tell someone, get over here. You got a funny feeling, an emergency comes up, you got to leave. Sorry, I got to leave. Really bad, walk out of the house, call someone, don't go back in. Got to call the police, walk out, call the police, no problem. Police are good. If you're a real estate agent, you call police, say, hey, I'm at such and such, I'm showing a house. I got a creepy guy here. I'm standing outside, he's in, can you send a cruiser by? Let me tell you something. Police officers all over the United States, they like those calls. They want to come help you. They don't get those many opportunities because people are filming them with phones and accusing them of everything from, A to Z. So there's an opportunity there. Use your gut. You should know your escape routes before anybody gets there. When you check a house out, tell yourself, if I'm in different spots in the house, how would I get out of here? If I'm in the back area, where's the back door? Is the back door unlocked? How do you unlock it? Practice unlocking it. Okay? If I'm in the backyard and it's fenced in, how do I get out of this fenced in yard? Are you going to run to the wrong spot? Okay? So those are the things you think about. The reason being is we do an excessive amount of training with law enforcement, private, and especially right now we're doing a ton of training across the United States with this active shooter. And what we're finding out is a normal human being, right now you can think like this. Wide spectrum, okay? Why? Because you're relaxed. And you got this interesting speaker talking to you and your minds are just flying. Okay. If I put you under pressure right now and I have a guy enter that back door with a bazooka and a mask on and he starts shooting, your cognitive thinking goes to this. Okay? That's what we call survival mindset. Your brain will shrink in its cognitive thinking. Here's the key. If you know ahead of time the solution, when your cognitive thinking shrinks, you will think about that specific training. Example, in active shooters, we show them where their escape routes are, where their barricades is, what they can do. And when we put the pressure on them, they always go to one of those selections. Why? Because I'm running down the hall and a guy's chasing me with a gun or a knife. Do I have time to look around and go, now that's a good exit, that's a bad exit, I could use that? No. But you know what? If I've been in that building or that house and I know exactly where the exits are and someone comes in with a gun or a knife, what am I going to think about? Your brain automatically goes to your predetermined training. You don't need to repeat it 10,000 times. You just need to know it. So under stress, you need to know your escape routes ahead of time. And under stress, guess what? You can think exactly to those. If not, and you don't have a definitive solution under stress, your brain goes into what we call confusion. It's debating what to do while worrying about staying alive. Does that make sense? That's why with police officers, we train them several times a year. It's muscle reaction. It's muscle memory. It's boom. They don't think, oh, do I need to grab my gun? Do I need to do? No, they go boom, 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 boom. In 3 seconds, they're responding. Okay. They're doing it. That's why you see all these films on TV. Guy has a gun, he has a knife, boom, police react and shoot him. Why? He's clearly showing them he's a threat. They're clearly been trained. Their brain goes here. They're trained to what? Stop the threat. Now we have 4,000 people debating whether they should have been shot. Now don't get me wrong. If a guy's running down the street, he has no weapon, there's no reason for that cop to shoot him. Fair is fair. And the question is, why did he pull a gun and shoot him? Something's wrong in the training that made that happen, okay? Because it shouldn't be that cognitive type of reaction. Know your solution to your worst fears, and you'll escape and be safe. Don't have a solution ahead of time. You're going to do the wrong thing. Okay? Make sense? All right. Criminals avoid people who look like they will offer resistance, don't look like a victim. Body language is 93% of communication. Example. A couple months ago, I was sitting in the mall. My wife wanted to go shop, and I'm the duty husband. I go with her, and I sit and let her shop everywhere she wants. I like to sit out in the middle of the mall and watch people. I learn when I watch. So I'm watching people. I go, I'm a criminal. Who am I going to attack or follow? So here comes a little lady, young girl, and she got her purse on 2 fingers, right? Swinging it, walking down. About 35 years old, reminds me of my daughter, thinks the world's all friendly. You know, never happened to me. Now, if I want to steal her purse, I got to run by her, grab it. It's a done deal. Okay? I see another person who has packages, who's looking around and wandering and going out, you know, not paying attention. I'm figuring, there's my person, my victim, that I want to follow out to her car. While she's going to her car, I could be 2 feet behind her. She'd never know I was there. And I'll follow her right to her car, stick a gun in her head and back, or tell her I got a weapon, take her purse and her packages. Just totally oblivious to the world. Then I see this. I see a lady who got to be in her 80s, right? She's got her purse underneath her armpit here, and it's this. And she's walking down like this, right? And I'm thinking, what's that lady thinking? She's thinking, you want a piece of me? Good luck. I'm 82, but you know what? Good luck. Come on, bring it on. Everywhere I walk, you got a challenge. I'm thinking, I ain't never going to go near that lady if I was a criminal. She's in her 80s, but she is confident. She's looking around. She's got her purse tucked in. She's sending me a message. You don't want a piece of this. And you know what? I respect that. And she's in command. Okay? And if you did try to take that purse, she would fight you. So why fight her? And the criminals would tell you, don't touch her. Don't go near her. She's off the charts. So it's not age. Oh, and by the way, she was under 5 foot. Couldn't have been 110 pounds. I don't care. You know? I've seen big guys walking down, and they're just sloppy, and I figure they're victims. They look like victims. Body language is huge. So, what's your body language when you show the house? You want to be friendly. You want to be kumbaya, but you also want to be professional and observant. And you want them to know that. Okay? You don't want to look like a victim and be a victim. Another thing, just a side note, anybody holds you up, points a gun, weapon, and says, we're leaving, and takes you outside and says, you're getting in this car and going with me. The rule is you go nowhere. I don't care. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to die, don't take this wrong, you're going to die there in that driveway. You're not dying where he takes you. I got carjackings. I got people walking out of restaurants, and they go up to them, and they go, I got a gun. You follow me around the corner to the alley. No. Don't go. Rule 1 is always, you're not going to another location, no matter what.
Is it, can I just ask you, that's like the thing I always think about. My husband and I also always say we're never going to a location. What are there, is the odds that the criminal will just leave at that point, knowing that you're going to stand your ground? I mean, do
Yeah.
they get shot at their car, or do they get...
Great question. Let me start this way. If you go with them to another location, the odds of death, robbery, rape, or beating, increase intensity of the crime exponentiates if you go to another spot. So I will tell you that. Secondly, The reason they're telling you to go to another location is they're not comfortable with the location that they're at as far as exposure, being seen, being heard, being whatever. That's to your advantage. Why give that up? Okay? Make a scene right there. One of the things that we teach, which could help, once again, someone confronts you outside or whatever, and, we teach a technique. I had, people a lot of times coming out of restaurants, concerts, walking. Someone comes up to them, boom, they're there. Hey, I got a gun, or they point a gun. I want your purse and wallet, and I want you to come with me. And what we teach is a very simple technique, whereas if you have a wallet or a purse, we teach a technique that if the person's right there, wherever they are, if you have a purse or wallet, we teach, they'll say, give me the purse or give me the wallet. Now, we just teach whatever. Now, I just kindly threw my wallet down, but basically we teach, hey, listen, I don't want no problem. Here's my wallet. And we teach throwing it on the ground. Hey, I don't want no problem. Here's my purse. We teach throwing it on the ground. Now, the reason it's called a decoy technique, we throw the wallet or purse on the ground. What happens is, if I throw that in front of you, everybody in here, when I did that, I watched, you all went and looked down at my wallet. Well, I got 3 seconds then, okay? So I go, hey, I don't want no problem. I don't want to get hurt. Hey, you can have, here's my, maybe they don't even ask you for your wallet or purse. Here's my wallet or purse. Throw it down. As soon as you throw it down, don't wait for them. As soon as it hits the ground, boom, go. Now, we call that, when you're done, you run, okay? Now, I created this technique based on research, and it works. You throw the wallet or purse down. It distracts them for a few seconds, enough for you to start going. In answer to your question, we've done this, we've trained people, and people have called us back. I've never had a criminal chase them. Hey, come back here. I'm not done talking to you. Hey, what'd you do that for? Hey, you ruined my plan. And what it is you're disrupting their plan. So if you can disrupt their plan, you have an increase your chances of survival and safety. So it's the opposite. You go with them, you decrease your chances, you distract them, run, you increase. They're not going to chase you down the street, and answer your question, we've never had anybody get shot, doing that, or get hurt, or get beat up. What we have is confusion on their part, because just as much as you have a track, criminals have a track. They have a plan. They don't expect you to throw it down and run. They expect you to go, oh, I'm scared shitless, excuse my language, I'll go with you. That's what they expect. So think about how you can disrupt that. Right? It works. And believe me, I've saved a lot of lives, a lot of female assaults, a lot of robberies, a lot of everything with this technique. Okay? Same thing on a carjacking. Rarely do you take people in your cars. I know you tell them, follow me or meet me there. But, this is a little off course, but I'll teach you. Carjacking. We looked at thousands of carjackings. And the thing that amazes me is people aren't prepared for carjackings, just like I told you before. So when someone jumps in your car at a red light, and it's a nice sunny day in Florida, and you got the radio on, and they jump in, and they point a gun at you, and they go, Merry Christmas, drive this car and do everything I say or I'll kill you. The immediate first thing you do in a carjacking, anybody gets in there with a gun, knife, bazooka, nothing, they don't belong here, they don't have a weapon, they're in your car, they don't belong there. As soon as they jump in your car, you floor the accelerator and you smash the car into a telephone pole, tree, or fire hydrant or truck. Really. Okay, now, let's talk about why. First thing is, if I don't tell you this ahead of time, you will not do it. Now I got you because I just brainwashed you for the rest of your life. If you ever get someone jump in your car, I don't need to train you 10,000 times. You will floor that accelerator and you will smash the car. Why? Because I just told you, I just poisoned your brain in a positive way. Why do I tell you that? We've done all the studies. What's the key to carjacking? Everybody goes, well, it's the gun in his hand, it's the knife in his hand, it's the threat, it's the individual. It's nothing but the car. The car is the key. Drive to these 10 ATMs and take withdrawals. And then when you're done with that, drive down here and I want to assault you, rape you, kill you, rob you, or do something. Well, guess what? There's only one reason that's happening. The car. So, they jump in, that car gets, you floor it, you wreck it now. Are they going to sit in that passenger seat and go, why'd you do that? This ruins my plan. Now let's see if we can go get a rental car. No. They now are shifting to their discourse. You have taken them out of their game plan and now in control. I got a mother that says, what happens if I got a kid in the back seat and a baby seat? Or a grandmother? I go, wreck the car. The kid's strapped in. He ain't. It only takes 20 miles an hour to go through a windshield. I hope he goes all the way. But he's probably going to have an airbag and get saved, but he ain't going to be in too good a shape to have a discussion with you. And his mode of upon crash is what? You wreck the car. What's this guy thinking of now? Shooting you, hurting you? No. Going to an ATM? No. You know what he's thinking? I got to get the heck out of here because police and fire and people are coming. You've just ruined that crime process. So, here we go again. Hijack a car, you're driving, wreck it. Go home, tell your kids, your husbands, your loved ones, tonight, wreck the car. It works. I've been teaching that for 18 years. I've had calls from all over the United States with people crying. Tim, I got to tell you, I heard it, I went home, I told my daughter. Can you believe it? 30 days later, a guy jacked in her car. My daughter wrecked the car. She's alive. Thank you. I don't want to hear where that daughter went. Okay? Because it's not good. And the thing that stops it is the car. This stuff here I'm teaching you stops criminals. They examine everything that's going on. And if you disrupt it and you're ahead of the ball game, we're going to continue to win this battle. Because you're not going to be a victim. You're not going to look like a victim. You're not going to act like one. So don't provoke the attack. Don't start sitting there saying stuff to them and getting them all upset and everything, And here's your dangerous situations. A vacant or foreclosed home. You want to inspect the exterior. If it's vacant, when you get there, walk around the house. This is one of the mortal sins of real estate agents. They don't do this. Well, it's vacant. It's locked up. I got a key. There's a special lock on the door handle. Boom, I go in. No. Go around the back. What happens if you find the back door's unlocked or busted in or a window's broken out? Someone's in there waiting for you. Are you going to go in? No. Walk around the house. You find a squatter or somebody in there. Hey, what are you doing here? Nope. You find a squatter, you immediately leave. You get outside, you get on the phone, you call the police. You don't confront the squatter in the house. That's a box canyon. Buddy system. You might have a buddy system where a buddy comes with you to the house, drives separately, while you go around and inspect the house. Then you go in the house and check the house. Then you come out and say, okay. So if your buddy can't stay with you, maybe a buddy can come with you for the initial. A lot of real estate agents say, we try to buddy up, but sometimes we can't. Well, then do what I call the initial buddy system, at least a preliminary of it. Or you're meeting someone there and you're not real sure. Have your buddy come by and eyeball that individual. Introduce them to her. And then if she leaves, that's okay. Now the criminal goes, oh, crap. Someone else now knows who I am. So sometimes the buddy system, the buddy can't stay the entire showing, but they can come by at the beginning. They can come by during it, stay a few minutes and leave. Work with each other on that if time's an issue. Meeting with a new client. If you can get the client to come to the office, collect information. There's nothing wrong today with asking for identification. Blame it on the company. It's company policy. Okay? Don't you take on the responsibility. Hey, I like to always get everybody's ID because I'll tell you why. They will try to convince you, if it's your idea, they don't need to show you their driver's license. But if it's company, The company's not there to argue with. People will show you. Here's the other thing. Someone that's leery of showing you their ID, you want to go out and have coffee with them and show them a house? You know? All these dating sites, what do? They meet at a coffee shop first. You know? It's not like they meet some remote area where they don't know each other. It's the same protocol, you know? Anybody that doesn't want to show me their ID or doesn't want to come to the office or, you know, whatever, I got to question that. I'll tell you what, it doesn't want to show an ID. I sure as heck ain't going to meet that person one-on-one alone in some house. You know, there's going to be somebody else there, you know. And then maybe at the house say, sir, I'm sorry, you've identified yourself as Tim Demoff. I need to verify by your driver's license that you're Tim Demoff. You know, well, that's bullshit. I'm not showing you. Well, this house showing is over. Go call some other real estate agent. You know why? Because right then and there, two things. Number one, there's a stronger criminal intent there potentially. And number two, I'll tell you right now from a psychological profile, that person's going to be a pain to deal with anyway. Okay? People that are uncooperative on the first stages, just get yourself a cup of coffee because you've got a long road ahead of you. Okay? And you know what? There's no better filter system than the preliminary. I will tell you, what someone is when you initially meet them in these kind of situations will dictate what kind of client you will have when you try to sell that house. Because that person I just described is the person that's not going to accept any deal and going to want some outrageous deal, and you're going to spend hours and weeks on it. And guess what you're going to get out of that whole process? Nothing. So that filter process helps you on your sales plus on your safety. Make sense? I like to use things people do all the time as an indicator because people will give you indications when they don't think it applies to the future, you know. It's when I hire, you know, we have certain things we do when we're hiring an initial meeting, you know, they come in coat and tie, dresses, you know, they look good, act good, smell good, you know. You get to about that third interview, I then throw them to a couple of my employees and have my employees interview them, and my employees are interviewing them to see if they would want to work with them. That person they're interviewing lets their hair down, starts talking to them. Hey, how you like working here? Hey, how's that Demoff guy? You a good guy to work for? You know, blah, blah, blah. My employees come back and go, Tim, I don't want to work with that guy. You know? You got to hear the crap he's asking us. You know? So what I'm saying is it tells you something. Yes. Okay. Meeting with a new client. IDs, we talked about it, buddy system. Always walk behind the buyers. When you're showing them the house, you're showing them the basement, you can tell them, go ahead down there and look around. You know, upstairs you can go, you know, go ahead and look around. Go ahead in there, you know, go into the garage, help yourself. You can stand outside. You do not have to be with them every step of the way. Letting others know where you are, you know, having your system. Another agent with you, having an ability to call that agent, call the office every hour that you're at the showing, having an agent call you every hour on your phone so that you can answer. If you can't answer, that's a clue that something's not right. And if you forget the answer or whatever and your phone's off accidentally, I'd rather you be safe and be a minor mistake. There's nothing wrong with that. And I always like to have someone know where I'm at on these real estate and have them call you if you don't call them every hour. Have some kind. And then have a code. No. I have a code in my office for the receptionist lady down the hall. She knows we're a bunch of guys from local police, military. We all have firearms. You know, we're in this building. They feel so good that the first floor has my 37 guys that are highly trained for protection. But we have a code. The receptionist calls our office and says, hey, I still didn't get that red file. Red file is danger. As soon as that happens, I pity the guy that's giving the receptionist a problem. That's our definition. But we're there to help. We have a code system. All my guys work security jobs. We have code system. We check in. I don't care if they're males with guns and ex-military and police. You know what? They can get a gun or a knife stuck up to their head, and they can be threatened just as easy as a female. We have systems, okay? Open house, don't give your number, explain ID video, inform neighbors you're showing, ask police to drive by, watch for patterns, we talked about that. Deadbolts unlocked, turn on lights, open curtains, open all the curtains in all the rooms, man. Lots of energy, lots of ability to see in there. Criminals love it when houses are contained. You know, put your valuables in your trunk. Don't wear a lot of fancy jewelry. Don't overdress, overextend jewelry and different things. Dress good, dress clean, but be in the middle of the road with all that. You know? And, you know, car descriptions, license plates. Obviously, you don't have front plates, but maybe you walk outside. You can walk to the front of the car. Once again, keep them in front of you. Friends, calls every hour. We talked about that. I just say for real estate, always have them follow you. You know, have them follow you or give them the address and say, I'll meet you there at a certain time. You know, you can park on the curb, tell them to park in the driveway. Okay? Just little things like that. We got to be careful about this. We got guys and girls doing very provocative, looking a little too good on your cards and on your advertisement and that. You know, be very careful. I was talking to a real estate agent last night here at the event, and her firm is now going away from having photos on the cards. You know, and photos on the cards are positive, they're warm, they're friendly. On the other end, you know, they can cause some problems sometimes. That's a decision you have to make. Yeah, don't have stuff with your name, address on it. You know, be alert. Keep your phones well maintained. Make sure your phones are charged. The worst thing that could happen is the charging goes out. Dress for safety. Carry extra battery charger or a battery for your phone. Have your emergency number programmed on speed dial. Once again, make sure that phone cannot die out. It's your strength. That's your safety. Once again, back to green, yellow, and red. And you can have codes. We talked about that. Suspect everyone. Let them prove to you that they're good and trustworthy. Know how to defend. Things like pepper spray, ballpoint pens, and different alternatives. They're good to have. If you're going to have anything besides a gun, I've got real estate people that get training. They're CCW carriers, and they don't care. They're carrying. Okay? If you don't, they always get asked what's another best tool is your brain. But if you have to have anything and you don't want firearms, pepper spray is your best. Not mace, but pepper spray. You know, and have on file information on you. If we can't find you, we want to be able to get the picture of police description of your car, a photo, and we want to be able to get to them early. Have your car fob in hand. You can use it for a panic alarm. Have it parked conveniently. And always 360 degrees of scanning and looking outside, things like that. Always examine. This is stuff we talked about. Exits around the house. If they have a dog, they got to lock that dog up. You don't want that dog to be an issue. And when you're exiting, look outside before you exit. Look around as you're going to your car. Get in your car, lock the door first, then start your car. Lock your door first, then start your car. Whether you're shopping, whether you're showing the house, whether you're doing anything, lock your car first. And once again, the fobs and everything. We don't want you to be a statistic, and we want you to be in control. And if you do have problems, yell in short, loud bursts is very recommended. It's all about layers of protection. I went over those layers of protection. If you use what I say, I guarantee you, from our research, development, and getting back feedback from real estate agents all over the United States, they said this works. This makes them feel better. And if you feel better, you know you're in better control. So, if you didn't get my business card, I have some up here. If you want some additional literature, I have some. I don't hand it out. But I'll be around, and I'll stick around here for a minute. But thanks, everybody, and I hope you
Awesome job,
stay
Timothy.
safe.
Thank you, everyone. Timothy DeMoff.